Good morning, everybody. I've got my Hugh Hefner pyjamas on this morning for today's story, and welcome back to Thai Talk with Dan. Now, this is a bit of a crazy story, not so much about money, but so much about the crazy Thai girl. So let's jump straight in, guys. I fell in love with a ruthless Thai girl I met on Tinder. I have never shared this story with anyone as it's been too embarrassing to tell. When I seen your video about Thai couples scamming foreigners, and also you mentioned about Thai girls with Farang boyfriends scamming other foreigners, I knew I had to contact you and share my experience. So I had been living in Thailand full time for a couple of years and recently ended a boring relationship I had with a Thai woman who had 2 kids. I decided I wanted something different, something exciting, and I had been speaking to a Thai girl online that came across extremely sexy, cute, and had a Korean style about her which I absolutely love. So after speaking a lot with her on video call, I decided to go and meet her. This girl wasn't a bar girl, just a regular girl living at home in Isan. I travelled from Pattaya to Isan to meet her at a resort which apparently had an amazing restaurant on the lake. I got to the resort and told her I had arrived, and she said that her brother would drop her off and she would be with me within the hour. I felt nervous as this Thai girl was incredibly beautiful, had an amazing body and the best come to bed eyes I had ever seen, so I decided to hit the minibar and have a few whiskies. The moment came and she finally arrived, dressed in a short black skirt and looked far better than she did in the video calls. We met and hugged and then went to my room and sat on the bed and started to talk. I was instantly and insanely attracted to her, and within minutes we started to kiss and we had amazing sex which didn't last long. I was instantly hooked on this girl from the start. We then went to the restaurant on the water and spent time talking and getting to know each other a lot better. We was only meant to meet for the day and night, but ended up spending a week together, and most of it was just in bed. I couldn't get enough of her. I have never ever had sex like this before in my entire life, and I never wanted it to end. At the end of the week, I was that hooked on her, I ended up going back to Pattaya, getting my stuff together, and got an apartment not too far from where she lived in Isan. For 3 months, we just spent most of our time in the apartment I was renting. We spent our time talking, fooling around, and just having a great time together. I was never bored, and I had an amazing time with this girl. She then said she wanted to travel somewhere in Thailand, so we made a plan and went. Now this is where things started to go wrong. When we arrived in Chiang Mai, we went out for a night out. We ended up going into some backstreet Thai bar, and all the Thai guys had their eyes on her instantly. She was a head turner, and both Thai and foreigners fancied this girl. She befriended a girl inside this bar and was sat chatting and drinking, and it was a bit of an awkward evening for me as I was extremely bored and spent most of the night feeling like a spare part. It was after midnight and I told her I was tired and wanted to go back to the room, but she didn't want to follow and said she will be back to the room later on. I was shocked that she said this, and I left and decided to go back to the room alone. She never came back until the morning when a Thai guy dropped her off in his truck. She looked a mess and was extremely hungover, and I knew straight away that she had obviously had sex with that guy. So we had a bit of an argument. She denied everything and just said she got really drunk and passed out, etc. I was that hooked on this girl, mainly due to the amazing sex, that if I'm honest, I chose to ignore what I knew had really happened. We left the hotel and headed off to the place where she planned for us to go, and I started to realise how flirtatious this girl was with men and women. It turned out she used to be lesbian, but more than likely, probably, still is. To fast forward a little, her apparent Farang ex-boyfriend turned up at the same resort. She told me that she had finished with him, but that he obviously hasn't got the message, and said that she needed to go and speak to him. She also said that her car was in his name, and that they had some kind of online business together, so they had to remain friends and not fall out. This is where everything just started to fall apart. She ended up making excuses, saying that she had to work with her ex, so she needed to go to his room, etc. And also he had a friend with him who was apparently also part of this online business. Again, one night she didn't come home and obviously stayed there. The usual lies came out. Oh, had to work all night, etc. Always knew how dodgy this was, but I was that hooked on this girl mainly because of her wonderful vagina. I have to be honest and tell it how it is. I would have fought anyone for this girl and always made an excuse up in my mind that she is not as bad as I think she is. She was like a drug I just constantly needed. This all got much worse and she started staying there a few nights a week, stating she had to work and that it was all complicated. He still thinks they are together, etc. She didn't want to lose her income with the business or lose her car, but promised me they was not having sex. I know what you are thinking, and I know what I thought at the time, but I just ignored it, as I really couldn't get enough of this girl. The power they have over you is incredible, and it is mainly sexual power. I had never met a woman that came close to her in the bedroom. Anyway, after the trip was over, we ended up going back home to Isan, and then this guy called her while I was at her house. He was going mental. You could hear him smashing things, and then I overheard him say that he knows she is sleeping with me. Her face went white, and then after the phone call, the truth came out. It turned out she was playing us both. He was always her boyfriend. They had been together for quite a few years, and he had to go back to his country for 6 months to make money. So because this girl had no money, was home alone and wanted some fun, she put herself on Tinder and found me. She told this guy that she was doing business with me and said the same lies, that she wasn't sleeping with me, etc. But she can make big money working with me. So she didn't want me to know that she had a boyfriend, as I liked her and she wanted to play me for the money. She gave me the story that this guy was violent and that he had funded the money for her house, the car and the business is his, but she gets a portion of the money. She told me she loved me, but she also loved him and she didn't know what to do. In all honesty, guys, my head was totally smashed. I was crazy about this girl, but all of this was mental. I stuck around for a few days, but at a resort, as I gave up my apartment, as we was planning on living together at her house. I didn't touch her at all and just needed some space to think. I was debating what to do, as I knew I had to get away from this girl, but like I say, I was just so hooked on her. Then her boyfriend turned up at her house and wanted to meet me. She gave him my number and he spoke to me on the phone. We agreed to meet at the resort I was staying in. In all honesty, I was expecting a fight. He turned up at the resort and we sat down to speak. I could see his head was messed up just as much as mine. I told him the truth and he was shocked. He told me that he had money issues and she told him that I was very rich and she was trying to scam me, but she wasn't sleeping with me, and he said he allowed her to do this, so they both thought they was going to get a big payday from me to fix their money issues, etc. I explained that we had been having sex from the first day that we met for around 6 months, and that she was living with me for 3 months in my apartment. Then we both arranged to speak to this girl together. She lied so much in front of me to this guy and did her best to not make herself look too bad, which was pretty difficult. Anyway, to put a close to this story, she asked me to run away together with her and never look back, but I said no. Her boyfriend ended up forgiving her and getting back together with her, and I just disappeared, never to see either of them ever again. Also, for the record, she got around 50,000 baht off me in total to help with their family's farm, as I thought I was investing into my future with her, and also obviously taken care of her and paid for everything for the 6 months we were together. It could have been a lot worse if I didn't find out about this guy, but I can honestly state that this emotionally damaged me a great deal, and I have never trusted a woman since. This happened to me about 5 years ago. Also, I would like to add that we never used protection and she rarely took the morning after pill, so I could have been really unlucky and ended up having a baby with her. Anyway, be careful out there. The girls are not always what they seem. Okay, well, thanks for sending in your story. This subscriber wishes to remain anonymous, probably due to the embarrassment that he felt with his story. Now, guys, please let us know what you think about this story in the comments. This guy obviously felt like he found his dream girl, and like he said, that amazing vagina just had him hooked. It seemed to be purely about the sex, and because this woman was so amazing in the sack, this guy just didn't want to give it up and found every excuse in his mind to continue with this woman. And I think this probably can relate to a lot of men out there, where they know that the woman is bad, or they know that the woman's using them in some kind of way, but they just can't let them go because they're either incredibly beautiful or they're extremely good in bed, or even both, guys. And when you've got a woman like that you're going to bed with every night and you're waking up with every morning, it's hard to let her go, and I totally understand it, but it's going to end up being painful in the long run for you guys out there. Just like this guy's stated, he has never been able to trust another woman since, and probably won't, maybe for the rest of his life. So it can mentally damage you and emotionally damage you in a very big way. So guys, you've been warned. Take heed. Be careful out there. This has been Thai Talk with Dan. If you've got your own story that you wish to share on the channel, your own experience that could help other men out there, then please send an email into thaitalkwithdan@gmail.com, and I'll see you again soon. Ciao for now, guys. Bye bye.